Hey, what is up, guys? This is Dudediligence here, and you can see I'm wearing my cooking clothes, the black one, and then we have a lot of cooking stuff comes over here. So as you can see, today we're making pad thai, and then I sort of modified the Japanese roux a little bit because I ran out of mirin, so then I created my own substitute. But you guys are not here for the cooking content, you guys are here for the stock content. And maybe I should start a cooking channel. But so today we're gonna talk about, while I'm waiting for you can see I'm doing a lot of stuff boiling here. I'm poaching some chicken for dinner, and we're modifying yesterday's Hainan chicken to make it more tender. But anyways, so I know a lot of you here for MMAT content or MMTLP content, and I rarely talk about the upside of that stock, or why did I bought in, or why did I even still hold if I criticize their management so much. And here is a video that I will explain to you, not really why, but there are some considerations most people are not considering, or for those of you who are on StockWits. And again, I do not read any StockWits comment. I don't even read Reddit comments, so you can hate me as much as you want. And later this month, I probably will get the Twitter from number two's phone to my phone, so I can tweet regularly about streams and other content. Especially by the end of the month, we are hoping that number two gets better from COVID, and we can get our company account set up, and we can use the Patreon and YouTube revenue to really do the challenges that we have in place. And with the data from the challenges, we can offer back to the community about why a lot of you are not making money, or a lot of the pattern train analysis stuff we will be doing on our app, which we plan to push it out, I don't know, in 2 years or something like that. But this is not a long-term plan video. This is a video about MMAT's, not really upside, but just pros that you guys are not really seeing, or a lot of people are not talking about. And this is the consideration why I still own shares of MMAT. So first of all is, MMAT was always and will always be a supply chain hedging bet. What do I mean by supply chain hedging bet? For those of you who don't know the ecosystem of material manufacturing or hardware, or whatever you call this, the industry that metamaterial is really in, it's really just converting. What metamaterial really is essentially, before you have to use a bunch of rare metals. Oh, sorry, the water is boiling here. Before you have to use a lot of rare metal to make certain materials, right? And then hopefully with the advance of cost reduction and all of those kind of stuff, we will be able to make the same kind of stuff, but with less expensive materials. Like, I don't know, at the end of the day, we probably can make dirt into stronger materials using metamaterials technology. What I mean by metamaterial technology is not metamaterial, the company technology, but the metamaterial. The technology basically is a hardware processing scientific process of making combine certain. It's like making metal alloys, but in this case, it's making stuff out of dirt or out of glass or other things, and then eventually it can basically become a substitute, or it can replace regular material. Like, for example, the microwave here. Okay, you see the microwave here? Eventually we can probably make a microwave all out of metal materials with cheaper price, but it's not achievable right now. So as someone who's been a tech investor for a long time, and who had his own startup and eventually failed, it's actually a really interesting story. I'm like very interested in innovative stuff. Therefore, I looked into this company. I was like, okay, I checked out your patent. I checked out a lot of things. I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if it's like super legit, or at least you have patent to protect it, and at least you have 2 or 3 processes that I really like that we patented. So I would just invest in this company for a long-term play. Like at first, I don't even care about the gamma squeeze, or care about the a lot of these squeezing things or whatever, right? Or the pump and dump stuff. For me, it's just a supply chain hedging sort of thing to make a better portfolio with better alpha in the long run. Because I know the company firsthand in Taiwan that manufactures similar stuff of glass. I know a Chinese company that can do it in a very low cost, and I know an Israeli startup that basically starting to develop a new type of way of doing whatever MMAT is doing, right? So this is basically a hedging consideration for me. Okay. A second one is at first, this company has really small market cap. Like even though it was on the OTC and then it's saying, hey, it's going to the NASDAQ. And with a lot of liquidity considerations, I would have thought that big institution players will come in and start buying the shares at a fairly low price. But the reverse split play was really throwing me off there. And usually after a merger, if a reverse split happened after a merger, it's actually a really bad sign in terms of how the company itself perceives its value. This is why there are actually rumors on the street that there are two big investors was gonna come in and do it for also the same reason as I do, for a supply chain hedging play. Because we all believe that we have a higher percent chance that a lot of those supply chain conglomerates or supply chain placement is going to be reallocated due to COVID. And then because Chinese unstable economic system and unstable political environment right now, it might get moved to North America, South America, or anywhere that might be able to produce the same amount of material and maybe have a lower cost, or maybe have the same amount of cost, maybe just have a higher amount of cost, but because of the stability of it, it will provide investor a bigger upside. And then a third one is really, it's not really a reason per se. I look into one of their products, which is the glass thingy where if you blow heat or cold film onto it, it's like very weather resilient. It's a very weather resilient product. And I have an idea of where it should be used at. And it's not a part of their go-to-market strategy yet. And even to nowadays, it's not their go-to-market strategy yet. And me and number two were making videos and hyping everybody up. But we actually reached out through a lot of different channels. We even reach out, sort of try to reach out through friends of friends and stuff, and telling them, hey, like I have an idea of where you can use this, and there might be a big buyer that's willing to do it. But somehow the communication chain did not reach properly. And also later on, we found a lot of downside on this stock because of the way how management works. But we're still in it because it's sort of like a safety pay. Let's just say 2 or 3 years from now, they eventually decide to enter the market. There's actually a huge market share there that they can absorb because other companies are not getting into it. First of all, because they don't have free cash. A lot of the other companies, their competitors' cash flows are basically tied up in daily operations. And then if you are a finance professional, you know that a lot of cash flow generation requires more cash, especially when you're expanding your market. So a lot of their competitors already have a go-to market. Therefore, like they don't want to expand. They don't want to horizontally expand their market. They want to vertically expand their market, right? So then for this company, I thought, the merger deal will give them a lot of cash. The merger deal will give them sort of like a fresh blood or fresh energy into sort of rethinking their product line. Hopefully they do that, but for right now, I don't think that's going to happen. But again, I will still keep holding onto my shares because I'm essentially using this as a hedging play. I don't really care the short-term downside or something, but a lot of you might care. This is why I make all these videos, and a lot of times, I also have a policy where if a stock lost like 60% of its value and then it's gonna proceed to do a reverse split, I will be out forever. And we're like closing on to that point. So I don't know whether I should still stick to my execution plan or not. I probably will, but I will make a video if I decided to exit all my position in metamaterial. But for now, I'm still positive. Like it's a supply chain hedging plan. Like it doesn't really matter as long as it doesn't reverse split. It doesn't really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But another consideration is if it actually goes reverse splitting, it actually looks really like after if metamaterial does 2 more reverse splits in the next 4 years, it would actually be very interesting to buy back in. If I ever decided to exit all the positions about like 2 or 3 years later. I will make a detailed video about that and about the why. Because when they do reverse splits, they actually are saturating all of the minority shareholders and they're benefiting majority shareholders. And eventually a big institutional investor or a strategic partner decided to invest in some futuristic products or product line or anything that have a big market that they haven't tapped into it, they will get a big share, and then this is why they won't hesitate to invest. But for right now, the outstanding share situation and with a lot of the auditing era, transitional era still not solved, it's not really coming in. So for those of you who are looking for a very short-term upside, it might not come. And a lot of you ask questions about the January 21st option expiration, legacy, whatever thing. There are a lot of YouTubers talking about that thing. You know what? Because there are more than 20 people DMing me, or just, oh my god, it's so annoying. I'll make a video about it. Essentially, the short answer is it doesn't matter at all. These legacy things, it doesn't matter at all. And for those of you who are looking for a gamma squeeze, it might or might not happen. Even if it go up by 15% and people are like, oh my god, you're wrong. It's not because the stock itself, it's because of the market momentum itself. We will see big volatility coming in next week, and we will see a huge VIX play by the end of next week because of January 21st expiry on the entire market, and then the potentially the J money or J POW, which is the Federal Reserve open market meeting the week after. All right, see you guys on the upside.